The moon base was quiet. It was always quiet. That was why Dr. Jia Kim liked it. Jia sat in her chair, eyes fixed on 6 large screens. Each screen showed different star patterns and wave lines. The wave lines moved up and down as sounds from space came in. Most people would hear nothing but noise. Jia heard patterns. "Computer, playback signal 27B, she said. Her voice was the only human sound for miles. The computer played the strange sounds again. Jia closed her eyes and listened. There was something different about this one. For 5 years, Jia had lived alone in Moonbase 7. Earth glowed blue and green through her window. She could see it, but she had no wish to return. Not after what happened to Tay and Sue. Jia's job was simple. Listen to space, find anything strange, tell Earth if aliens tried to talk. Most thought it was a waste of time. Jia knew better. Her small living space was neat but plain. One photo sat on her desk. It showed a man with kind eyes and a little girl with a big smile. Jia did not look at it often. "Computer, run translation program JK5 on the new signal," she said. The computer hummed. Jia had written that program herself. It could find patterns. In any language, even ones never heard before. Earth Command said it was the best ever made. That was why they let her stay alone up here. Pattern match, 12%. Not enough data for translation, the computer said. Jia nodded. This was normal. New signals needed time. She would wait. The base had everything she needed. Food, air, work. No people asking how she felt. No sad eyes looking at her. No one saying it wasn't your fault. She knew it was her fault. The crash, the fire, the silence after. Her screen beeped. A message from Earth. "Dr. Kim, monthly check-in required. Please respond. Admiral Doe." Jia sighed and pressed the button. Moonbase 7 stable, all systems normal. No translation results yet on signal 27B. We'll update when available. She sent the message without video. They never made her use video anymore. Jia stood and walked to her wall of books. Real paper books. Heavy and old. Books about languages from Earth. Books about math patterns. Books about sounds waves. These were her friends now. The signal beeped again. Jia turned. The pattern had changed. Now it pulsed with a new rhythm. Computer, record, and analyze new pattern in signal 27B. She watched as the computer drew the sound waves, up and down. Then a flat line, then up and down again, like something breathing. Pattern match now 23%, the computer said. Jia felt her heart beat faster. Anything above 20% was important. This could be it. First contact, she pressed a button. Earth Command, this is Dr. Kim. Signal 27B shows pattern match of 23%. Request. Priority analysis, sending data now. While she waited for a reply, Jia opened her own notebook. Old-fashioned paper. She wrote by hand when she needed to think. The signal kept changing, growing stronger. Jia wrote down every change. 3 hours later, Earth replied. Data received. First contact committee being assembled. Stand by for instructions. Jia frowned. Too soon, she said to the empty room. Pattern match is still only 27%. We need at least 60% to understand basic intent. She sent another message. Earth Command, recommend waiting for stronger pattern match before action. Current data insufficient to determine intent or meaning. The reply came fast. Committee launch in 48 hours. Your caution is noted, Dr. Kim. Jia looked at the signal waves. They had a pattern that bothered her. Something about the way they rose and fell. Something warning. She turned to the photo on her desk. They never listen, she told the smiling faces. Just like they didn't listen before. The signal pulsed again, stronger now, like a heartbeat growing louder. Jia watched and listened. Alone on the moon, she was the first to hear them, and the first to feel afraid. Admiral Doe stood tall in the bright meeting room. 20 people sat around a large table, looking at screens showing the strange signal from space. Dr. Kim has confirmed the signal is artificial, Admiral Du said. That means someone made it. Someone not from Earth. The room stayed quiet. This was big news. We have formed this first contact committee to respond, he continued. We will send our best ship, the Harmony, to find the source of the signal. A young man raised his hand. He had neat black hair and bright eyes full of excitement. Yes, Mr. Han? Admiral Du said. Have we translated the signal yet? Han asked. Do we know what it says? The Admiral shook his head. Dr. Kim reports only 31% pattern match. Not enough to know meaning. But we can't wait. The signal is coming from near Saturn. It will take our ship 2 weeks to get there. Han nodded. He was the youngest linguist on the team. Fresh from school, he had studied all of Dr. Kim's work. She was famous for her translation programs. Han wanted to meet her someday. I can help with translation during the journey, Han offered. Good, said Admiral Do. You will join Captain Jin on the Harmony. Launch is tomorrow. On the moon, Jia worked without rest. The signal had changed again. Now it repeated in clear sets of sounds. This was important. Computer, compare signal pattern to known warning calls in Earth animals. The computer worked for 10 minutes. Match found, 67% similar to elephant danger calls, 72% similar to whale warnings of predators. Jia felt cold. She sent a message to Earth. Signal shows strong warning patterns. Recommend extreme caution. Need more time to confirm intent. The reply came an hour later. Launch preparations continue. Your input noted, Dr. Kim. Jia hit her desk hard with her hand. Noted? Just noted? She looked at the photo of Tae and Sue. 5 years ago, she had warned about testing the new shuttle engine. Her data showed problems. They had noted her warning then too. Tae had been the test pilot. Sue had gone to watch her brave father. Jia had stayed home to work. The explosion had been seen for miles. Now Jia feared another disaster. The signal was getting stronger each hour. Its pattern was clear to her, even if her computer needed more time. Stay away. That's what it was saying. Stay away. She had to make them listen this time. On Earth, the Harmony prepared for launch. The ship was the best Earth had built. It could carry 30 people and had all the latest equipment. Captain Jin walked through the ship, checking everything. He had led 3 trips to Mars, but this was different. This time they might meet someone new. His screen beeped. A message from Moon Base 7. Captain Jin, this is Dr. Kim. Request direct communication before launch. Jin was surprised. Everyone knew Dr. Kim never used video calls. She sent only text messages. Accept call, Jin said. The screen showed a small woman with short black hair. Her face was thin and pale, her eyes dark with worry. Captain, she said, you must delay launch. Why, Dr. Kim? Admiral Du says we have approval. The signal, she said. I've run new tests. It's a warning. Like animals give when their space is entered. Jin frowned. Are you sure? Pattern match now at 42%. Still not enough for full translation, but the warning elements are clear. Jin looked at his launch clock. 12 hours until they left. I will tell Admiral Do, he promised. Jia nodded. Please, She paused. I lost my family by not being heard. I don't want that to happen to you. The call ended. Jin sat still, thinking. Then he called Earth Command. Admiral Du listened, then shook his head. Launch continues as planned. We can't wait months for a perfect translation. If it's a warning, the Harmony can leave quickly. Jin wanted to argue, but orders were orders. In her moon base, Jia received the news. Launch would happen tomorrow. They didn't listen, she whispered. Again. She turned back to her computer. If they wouldn't wait for more translation, she would have to work faster. Much faster. The Harmony moved through space, its engines quiet and smooth. Inside, Captain Jin looked at the main screen. Saturn's rings glowed in the distance. The ship had traveled for 12 days. Any sign of the signal source? He asked. Yes, Captain, said his crew member. Something big is near the small moon Mimas. The screen changed to show a dark shape against the stars. It was hard to see at first. Then lights began to show on its surface. The shape was long and curved, like a sleeping animal. It's a ship, Captain Jin said softly. A very big ship. Han stood near the back of the bridge. The young linguist had spent the journey studying the signal. Each day more data came from Dr. Kim on the moon. The signal was getting clearer. Captain, Han said, I've decoded more of all the message. They call themselves the Aura. Jin nodded. Good work. Can you tell what they want? Han shook his head. Not exactly. Their language uses musical tones. Each sound has many meanings based on how it's played. Jin's screen beeped. A message from Moonbase 7. Captain Jin, this is Dr. Kim. Pattern match now at 58%. Strong evidence of territorial warnings. The aura appear to be saying this is their space. Approaching closer may be seen as a threat. Jin frowned. How sure are you, Dr. Kim? Very sure about the warning, she replied. Less sure about other parts. Need more time. Jin looked at the alien ship. It wasn't moving. It just sat there in the darkness. We've come too far to stop now, he said. We will approach slowly and send peaceful messages. Han stepped forward. Captain, I think Dr. Kim is being too careful. My analysis shows the aura are curious about us. Yes, there are warning elements, but that's normal for a first meeting. Jin thought for a moment. We'll proceed with caution. Prepare the greeting message we worked on. On the moon, Jia watched her screens with growing worry. The signal had changed when the harmony got closer to Saturn. Now it had new patterns, faster and more complex. Computer, analyze tone shifts in the latest signal. The computer worked quickly. Analysis shows 89% match with defensive postures and Earth animal communications. Jia sent another urgent message to the harmony. Captain Jin, the aura are showing clear defensive patterns. Please hold position and do not approach further. She waited for a reply. Nothing came. Jia hit the emergency button. Admiral Doe, this is Dr. Kim. You must order the harmony to stop its approach. The aura signals show they feel threatened. The Admiral's face appeared on her screen. He looked tired. Dr. Kim, we've invested too much in this mission to halt now. Captain Jin says your young colleague Han has a different view of the signals. Han is wrong, Jia said firmly. He doesn't see the full pattern. We're proceeding, Admiral Doe said, but with caution. The call ended. Jia stood up and paced her small room. She had to do something more than just send warnings no one would listen to. She looked at her old notebook. Inside were ideas she had worked on for years. Ways to use sound not just to talk, but to protect. If the aura used sound as warnings, maybe they used it for other things too. Jia began typing fast into her computer. The harmony moved closer to the alien ship. Now they could see it clearly. It was 3 times the size of their own vessel. Its surface was smooth with patterns that glowed soft blue. Send the greeting message, Captain Jin ordered. Han nodded and pressed buttons on his control panel. The ship sent out a carefully designed sound message. It had friendly tones and simple math patterns that all beings should understand. They waited. 5 minutes passed. Captain, a crew member called, the alien ship is moving. The huge vessel turned slowly toward them. Points of light grew brighter on its surface. Han's screen filled with new signals. They're responding. But as Han listened, his smile faded. This doesn't match our friendly greeting response models. Captain Jin looked worried. What are they saying? Han shook his head. I'm not sure, but the tone pattern is very different now. More intense. Jin's screen beeped again. Dr. Kim's message read, move away now, they see you as a threat. Too late. The alien ship sent out a bright pulse of light. Then came a wave of sound that the harmony's sensors couldn't fully measure. What's happening? Jin asked. But when he tried to speak again, no sound came out. All around the bridge, Crew members opened their mouths to speak. Silence. They had been silenced. Panic filled the bridge of the Harmony. Captain Jin tried to speak again. His mouth moved, but no sound came out. The same happened to everyone else on the ship. Han touched his throat. He could feel it working, but no words formed. His eyes were wide with fear. Captain Jin pointed to the communication panel. A crew member understood and typed quickly. Earth Command. We are under attack. Cannot speak. Alien ship has done something to our voices. On Earth, Admiral Du read the message with shock. The large room filled with worried voices. Get Dr. Kim, he ordered. Now. On the moon, Jia saw the messages coming in from the Harmony. She had been right. The Aura had used sound as a weapon. Her computer beeped. Admiral Do's face appeared on the screen. Dr. Kim, the Harmony crew cannot speak. What is happening? Jia's hands moved quickly over her keyboard as she explained. The Aura evolved using sound for both talk and defense. The signal patterns show they felt threatened by our approach. They used a sound wave to target the speech centers in the human brain, or damage the vocal cords temporarily. Can it be fixed? The Admiral asked. Yes, I think so, Jia said. But I need more data from the ship's sensors. And what do we do about the alien ship? Should we attack? Jia looked alarmed. No. That would be the worst thing to do. The Aura are defending their space. They use the mildest form of defense first, taking our voices but not hurting us. An attack would bring much worse. Admiral Do frowned. Then what? We can't just let them silence our people. Jia took a deep breath. I've been working on something that might help. A countersignal based on my translation algorithm. But I need to go to Earth to finish it. There was silence. Everyone knew Jia had not left the moon in 5 years. You would come here? Admiral, Du asked, surprised. Yes, Jia said quietly. This is too important for messages back and forth. On the Harmony, the crew worked in silence. They used screens and typing to communicate. The alien ship stayed nearby watching. Han felt sick with guilt. He had been so sure he understood the Aura signals. He had told Captain Jin that Dr. Kim was being too careful. He had been wrong. Now they could not speak. Han typed a message to Captain Jin. I'm sorry, I should have listened to Dr. Kim. The captain read it and nodded. Then he typed back, we all made this choice. Now we must fix it. Han turned back to the signal data. Even without his voice, he could still work on the translation. Dr. Kim's latest algorithm was running on his computer. The pattern match was now at 63%. New information appeared on his screen. The Aura language was based on music. Different tones meant different things. But there was more. The sound patterns matched feelings. Angry sounds for warnings. Soft sounds for peace. The message they had sent to the Aura had been all wrong. The tones they used had sounded threatening to alien ears. Han typed a new message to Earth. We used wrong sounds. Need to send peaceful tones. On Earth, preparations were made for Jia's arrival. A small ship would bring her from the moon. Jia packed quickly. She only took her computer and old notebook, and the photo of Tay and Sue. I'm doing this for you, she whispered to the picture. The trip to Earth took 6 hours. Jia sat quiet and still the whole time. She had not been around other humans for so long. It felt strange. When she arrived, Admiral Do was waiting. Thank you for coming, Dr. Kim, he said. Jia nodded. Take me to your best sound lab. We have work to do. As they walked, Jia explained her idea. The Aura used sound not just for talking, but for protection. They can tune sound waves to affect specific parts of the body. They stopped our voices, but they could do much worse. Like what? The Admiral asked. They could stop our hearts, Jia said softly, or shut down our brains. We are lucky they chose to be gentle. The Admiral looked worried. And you think you can protect us from this? Yes, Jia said. I've studied their patterns. I can create a counter-signal that will shield our people, and I can make a message that will show them we come in peace. How long will this take? The Admiral asked. Gia looked at the new data coming in from the Harmony. 2 days, maybe less. She hoped that would be fast enough. The Aura ship had not attacked again, but it was still watching, waiting. Gia had to work fast, before someone did something stupid and made things worse. The Harmony floated in space, too afraid to move. The huge Aura ship stayed nearby, lights pulsing along its curved body. It was like a giant sea animal, watching them. Inside the Harmony, Captain Jin moved his crew with hand signs. No one had spoken for 24 hours. They wrote messages on screens and used head nods to agree. Han worked at his station studying the Aura signals. He had new data from Earth about Dr. Kim's work. It helped him understand more about the alien language. A crew member touched Han's shoulder and pointed to a screen. A new message had come from Earth. Dr. Kim has arrived on Earth, working on solution. Stay in place, do not provoke aliens. Han nodded and turned back to his work. The aliens had taken their voices, but not their minds. They could still think, still work. Captain Jin appeared beside him with a question on his screen. Any progress? Han typed back. Yes, Dr. Kim's new algorithm shows the Aura use different sound patterns for different ranks. We used high-rank tones that only their leaders can use. It was like shouting orders at them. Jin frowned and typed. We meant to be friendly. I know, Han typed, but in their culture we were being very rude. The captain looked at the giant ship through the window. Then he typed. Can we apologize? Han thought for a moment. Maybe. I'm working on it. On Earth, Gia sat in a large sound lab. Equipment filled the room. 10 scientists worked around her, but they stayed quiet. They knew she needed to focus. Gia hadn't slept since arriving. Dark circles showed under her eyes, but she kept working. Her fingers moved fast over the keyboard. Admiral Du entered the room. Any progress, Dr. Kim? Gia nodded without looking up. The Aura use sound waves at frequencies humans can't hear. These waves can target specific body parts based on their density. Like vocal cords, the Admiral said. Yes. They sent a wave that temporarily paralyzed the vocal cord muscles. Gia pointed to a screen showing wave patterns. I'm creating a counter wave that will protect our people, and a message that will calm the Aura. How soon can we send it? 6 more hours, Gia said. Maybe less. The Admiral looked worried. We may not have that much time. Military leaders are pushing for action. They want to send armed ships. Gia stood up suddenly. No, that would be a disaster. The Aura could silence an entire fleet in seconds, or worse. I'm holding them off for now, Admiral Do said. But hurry. After he left, Gia worked even faster. She thought of Tay and the crash that took him and Sue. No one had listened to her warnings then. She couldn't let more people die now. Her screen showed new data from the Harmony. Han had made progress with the translation. The young linguist was smart, even if he had been too confident before. Gia sent him a message. Good work on the rank. Tones, keep going. I'm working on our response. On the Harmony, a new alert flashed. The Aura ship was moving. Captain Jin rushed to the bridge. The alien vessel was turning, its front now pointing directly at them. More lights appeared along its body. Han studied his screen. New signals were coming in fast. He typed quickly. They're charging something. Energy readings increasing. Captain Jin typed to his crew. Prepare for impact, secure stations. Han looked at the translation program. The latest signal from the Aura had a pattern match of 67%. Good enough to get some meaning. The message was clear. Leave now or face consequences. Han typed urgently to Captain Jin. They're giving us a chance to retreat. The captain looked at the huge alien ship. Pride battled with common sense in his mind. Should they run or stay and face whatever came next? Before he could decide, a new message arrived from Earth. From Dr. Kim. Do not move. Protection coming soon. Any movement will be seen as aggression. Captain Jin made his choice. They would stay. The Aura ship glowed brighter. A pulse of energy. Gathered at its front, Han typed to everyone, "Brace for impact." The pulse released. A wave of energy, invisible but powerful, hit the Harmony. The ship shook. Lights flickered, then the wave passed. Han waited for something to happen. Nothing did. He could still not speak, but nothing worse had happened. Then the ship's main computer flashed a message. "Warning. All ship systems shutting down. Life support will remain active for 48 hours. The lights went out. The engines stopped. Only emergency lights remained. The Harmony was dead in space, silent and still, and the Aura ship waited, watching. She stood in a large meeting room at Earth Command. 20 military leaders sat around a table. Their faces were angry and afraid. "The Harmony is dead in space," said General Park, a tall man with a hard face. "Our people are trapped. We must send warships now." Admiral Do shook his head. "Dr. Kim says that would make things worse." All eyes turned to Jia. She looked small next to the big military leaders. "The Aura have shown great control," she said quietly. "They could have killed our people. Instead, they took their voices. Then they stopped the ship. These are warnings, not attacks." "Warnings?" General Park stood up, his voice loud. "They have attacked an Earth ship. We must show strength." Jia shook her head. "No, we must show understanding." General Park laughed without smiling. "Understanding? They are aliens. They are not like us. We need to fight." Jia's eyes grew cold. She walked to a small device on the table. It was the size of her hand, with buttons and a small speaker. "The Aura are not like us in many ways," she said, "but in some ways they are very similar." She pressed a button on the device. A sound too quiet to hear filled the room. General Park opened his mouth to speak again. Nothing came out. His face turned red with anger. He tried again. Still no sound. Everyone at the table stared at Jia. She pressed the button again, and the general's voice returned. "What did you do to me?" he shouted. "I used a sound wave that targets vocal cords," Jia said. "Just like the Aura did to our ship. I made this device in just one day. Imagine what a species that has used sound as a weapon for thousands of years can do." The room was quiet now. Everyone understood. The Aura evolved on a world where sound was both communication and protection, Jia explained. "They can do much more than silence us. They can stop our hearts, shut down our brains, but they chose not to." "So what do we do?" Admiral Do asked. "We can't leave our people there." "I've created two things," Jia said. "First, a shield that can block the Aura sound weapons. Second, a message that will show them we are sorry and want peace." She showed them her computer screen. It displayed sound waves and numbers. "This message uses their own musical patterns. It shows we understand their warnings and respect their space." General Park still looked angry. "And if they don't accept our apology, then we can use the shield to protect our ships while we bring the Harmony crew home," Jia said. "But violence should be our last choice." Admiral Do stood up. "I agree with Dr. Kim. We will try her plan first." General Park and some others looked unhappy, but most nodded. "How will we deliver this message?" Admiral Do asked. Jia took a deep breath. "I need to go there myself. The message must be sent, with exact timing and adjustments based on their responses." The room grew noisy with voices saying no. Admiral Do raised his hand for quiet. "Dr. Kim, that's too dangerous. We can send someone else." Jia shook her head. "No one else fully understands the Aura language patterns. I've spent years studying sound as communication. It must be me." "You haven't even been off Earth in 5 years," Admiral Do said gently. Not since I lost my family," Jia finished for him. "I know, but that's why it must be me. I couldn't save them, but I can save the Harmony crew." The room was quiet again. Everyone knew Jia's story, how she had warned about the engine test, how no one had listened. "Very well," Admiral Do said finally. "We will prepare a small, fast ship. You and a small crew will go." General Park stood up. "This is a mistake. But if you go, you should take weapons. Gia looked at him calmly. The only weapon we need is understanding. As the meeting ended, Gia felt afraid. She had stayed alone on the moon to avoid people, to avoid pain. Now she would fly into space toward danger, but she had no choice. No one else could do this. She touched the photo of Tay and Sue in her pocket. "I will not fail this time," she whispered. The small lab room buzzed with quiet activity. Gia sat at the main computer, her fingers flying over the keys. Beside her sat Han, who had been brought back from the Harmony by a fast rescue pod. Han still could not speak. He typed his thoughts. On a screen. "I'm sorry I didn't listen to you," his screen showed. Gia glanced at him. "You're listening now. That's what matters." Han had been the only person brought back from the Harmony. Captain Jin and the rest of the crew stayed on the ship. They had refused to leave. Admiral Do entered the lab. "The ship is ready, Dr. Kim. You leave in 3 hours." Gia nodded without looking up. "We'll be ready." Han typed a new message. "I want to go with you." Gia read it and frowned. "You can't speak. It's too dangerous." "I know the aura signals better than anyone except you." Han typed, "I can help." Gia thought for a moment, then nodded. "Okay, but you follow my lead." Han smiled and gave a thumbs up. They worked together for the next 2 hours. The sound shield was almost done. It would create a bubble of special sound waves around their ship. These waves would stop the aura's silencing weapon. The peace message was harder. It needed to use the right tones and patterns to show respect. "The aura use music like we use words," Gia explained to Han. "Each tone has a meaning. Put together, they tell a story." Han typed a question. "What story will our message tell?" "That we are sorry, that we respect their space, that we want to learn, not fight." Han nodded and typed, "Will they believe us?" Gia looked at him with serious eyes. "I don't know, but we have to try." The small ship was called the Whisper. It was fast and had the best sound equipment Earth could make. Only 4 people would go: Gia, Han, Admiral Do, and a pilot named Min. As they prepared to leave, General Park appeared with a group of soldiers. "What is this?" Admiral Do asked with a frown. "Security," General Park said, "in case Dr. Kim's peace plan fails." The soldiers carried strange-looking guns. Gia recognized them as sonic weapons, designed to use sound as attack. "No weapons," she said firmly. "They will sense them. It will make things worse." General Park stepped close to her. "You may trust these aliens, Dr. Kim." "I do not." Admiral Do moved between them. "No weapons on the ship, General, that's an order." The general's face turned hard, but he nodded to his soldiers. They left, taking the weapons with them. "Be careful." "Admiral," General Park said as he left, "remember who the enemy is." 2 hours later, the Whisper flew through space toward Saturn. Gia sat with Han in the small sound lab on the ship. They made final adjustments to their equipment. Admiral Do watched them work. "How will we know if the shield is working?" "We won't. Until the aura try to silence us," Gia said. "But I'm confident it will work." The Admiral looked worried. "And if it doesn't?" "Then we'll be like Han," Gia said quietly. Unable to speak, Han typed on his screen. "Not so bad. You get used to it." They shared a small smile. Han had been voiceless for days now, but he kept working, kept helping. Gia checked her equipment one last time. The peace message was ready. She had recorded it using special sound machines that could make the musical tones the aura used. The message began with tones of respect and caution. Then came tones of apology. Last were tones asking for understanding. Min's voice came over the speaker. "We're approaching Saturn. The aura ship and the Harmony are visible now." Gia took a deep breath. Soon they would know if her plan would work, if the aura would listen, if she could save the Harmony crew, and perhaps stop a war between humans and the first aliens they had ever met. Han touched her arm and showed his screen. "You can do this." Gia nodded. She felt afraid but also ready. For 5 years she had hidden from the world, from people, from pain. Now she would face all three. "Turn on the shield," she told Admiral Doe. "We're going in." The small ship flew toward the huge aura vessel. The shield hummed to life around them, invisible but powerful. Gia hoped it would be enough. The Whisper moved slowly toward the massive aura ship. Through the front window they could see the Harmony floating dark and silent nearby. "Any signs of life from our ship?" Admiral Doe asked. Min checked her screens. "Yes, sir. Life support is still working. The crew is alive, but systems are still down." Gia watched the huge alien vessel grow larger in the window. It was beautiful in a strange way. The curved shape glowed with soft blue lights that moved in patterns. "Those lights are talking," she said softly. "They're another form of aura communication." Han typed on his screen and showed it to Gia. The patterns match the sound signals. They're saying the same thing in 2 ways. Gia nodded. "What are they saying now?" Han studied the patterns, then typed, "Warning, do not approach. We need to send our message before they attack," Gia said to Admiral Doe. "Are we in range?" The Admiral checked with Min, who nodded. "We're in range," he confirmed. "Shield is at full power." Gia took a deep breath. "Send the message." Min pressed the button that would broadcast the special sound patterns Gia had created. The peace message flew through space toward the aura ship. For a long minute, nothing happened. The alien ship stayed still, its lights continuing to pulse in warning patterns. Then the lights changed. New patterns flowed across the ship's surface. Han typed quickly, "They're surprised. They didn't expect us to use their language." Gia watched closely. "Are they going to respond or attack?" Before Han could answer, the aura ship glowed brighter. A pulse of energy gathered at its front, just like before. "They're charging a weapon," Min called out. "Hold position," Gia said firmly. "The shield will protect us." Admiral Doe looked worried but gave a quick nod to Min. "Hold position." The pulse of energy shot out from the aura ship. It hit the Whisper with full force. The small ship shook. Lights flickered. A high-pitched sound filled the air, but then everything steadied. The shield had held. "Can everyone still speak?" Gia asked quickly. "Yes," said Admiral Doe. "Systems all working," reported Min. Gia looked at Han. His eyes were wide with excitement. He typed, "Shield worked. They tried to silence us and failed." Gia allowed herself a small smile. The countermeasure had worked. But they weren't safe. Yet. "Send the second part of the message," she told Min. This part of the message explained that humans came in peace, that they were sorry for entering aura space without permission, that they wanted to talk, not fight. The message went out. Again, they waited. The lights on the aura ship changed again. Faster now, more complex patterns. Han worked quickly to translate. He showed his screen to Gia. "They are confused. They ask how we can still speak. They want to know what we are." "Tell them we are humans," Gia said. "Tell them we want to understand them, not harm them." Min sent the new message. The aura lights pulsed again. Han translated. "They ask why we approached their territory, why we used leaderspeak in our first message." Gia nodded. "Tell them it was a mistake. We didn't know their ways. We are learning." As this message went out, the aura ship began to move. It came closer to the Whisper. Now it was so large it filled the entire window. "Should we back away?" Admiral Doe asked, tension in his voice. "No," Gia said. "That might seem like fear or guilt. Stay still." A new pattern of lights appeared on the aura ship. This one was different. It moved in circles around a central point. Han studied it. Then, typed with excitement, "They're sending a visual message. It shows their homeworld." The light pattern formed a picture of a planet with 3 moons. Then the picture changed to show the planet breaking apart. "What does it mean?" Admiral Doe asked. Gia watched the pattern repeat. "They're telling us their story. Their home world was destroyed." Han typed quickly. "That's why they're here. They're refugees." Gia felt a wave of understanding. They're not invaders, they're survivors, and they're afraid of us. The Admiral looked surprised. Why would they fear us? Their ship is much larger than ours. Size doesn't always mean strength, Gia said quietly. They've lost everything. They're protecting what little they have left. She turned to Min. Send our final message. This message was different from the others. Gia had created it to show images as well as sounds. It showed Earth, humans living peacefully. It showed stars and planets with room for all. The message ended with a simple tone pattern that meant, in Aura language, we can share the stars. The lights on the Aura ship stopped moving. For a long moment, everything was still. Then new lights began to glow. Soft, gentle patterns. Han translated with shaking hands. They accept our peace. They ask to talk more. Relief filled the small ship. Gia felt tears in her eyes. They had done it. They had made first contact without war. Admiral Do put his hand on Gia's shoulder. You did it, Dr. Kim. Gia shook her head. We all did it, by understanding, not fighting. Han typed one more message and showed it to Gia. They want to know your name, the one who speaks their language. Gia looked at the beautiful alien ship with its gentle lights. After 5 years of hiding from human contact, she had connected with beings from another world. Tell them my name is Gia, she said softly. And I have been alone too long. 1 month later, Gia stood at the window of her moon base. But now she was not alone. Han worked at a computer nearby, his voice fully returned. The Aura had sent a special sound wave that healed the human vocal cords. The new translation program is working well, Han said. We can now understand 89% of Aura language. Gia nodded. And they are learning our language too. So much had changed in 1 month. The harmony had been fixed, and its crew returned safely to Earth. The Aura ship now orbited Saturn peacefully. A second Aura ship had arrived, carrying more of their people. Earth had been afraid at first when the second ship came, but Gia had helped everyone understand. The Aura were not invaders. They were the last survivors of a dead world. Admiral Du is coming today, Han said. He wants to discuss the new Aura-human agreement. The agreement was simple. Earth would help the Aura build a new home on one of Saturn's moons. In return, the Aura would share their knowledge of sound technology and space travel. Do we have the latest data on Titan? Gia asked. Titan was Saturn's largest moon where the Aura wanted to live. Yes, Han replied. The Aura say it's perfect for them. Cold, but they can adapt. Gia smiled. That was something humans and Aura shared. The ability to adapt. A light flashed on Gia's console. Someone was approaching the moon base. That must be Admiral Do, Han said. But when the doors opened, it wasn't just the Admiral. General Park was with him. Gia was surprised. She had not seen the General since the mission to the Aura ship. He had been angry about the peaceful approach. Dr. Kim, Admiral Do said with a smile. The Aura representatives have arrived at Earth. They ask if you will come to meet them in person. Gia felt a moment of fear. Going back to Earth, being among crowds of people, it was still hard for her. They specifically asked for you, the Admiral added. They call you the one who listens. General Park stepped forward. His face was serious, but not angry anymore. Dr. Kim, he said formally, I was wrong. You were right. Fighting would have been a disaster. Gia was surprised again. She had not expected this. The Aura sound technology could have destroyed all our ships, General Park continued. But instead they offer to share it with us to help us. He held out his hand to her. Thank you for saving our people. Gia slowly took his hand. We all want to protect what we care about, she said. The Aura understand that. They lost their world to a species that didn't listen to warnings. Han looked up from his computer. The Aura have sent a new message. They want to show us something important. He pressed a button and a beautiful pattern of lights appeared on the main screen. It showed two shapes. One the curved form of an Aura ship, one the straight lines of a human ship. Between them was a bridge made of light. It's their way of saying we can connect our two worlds, Gia explained. Admiral Doe smiled. Will you come to Earth to help us do that, Dr. Kim? Gia walked to her desk and picked up the photo of Tay and Sue. For 5 years, it had been her only company, her reminder of why she stayed alone, but now it felt like something else. A reminder that connection, even when it ends in loss, is still valuable. Yes, she said. I'll come. As they prepared to leave, a final message came from the aura. Han translated it and smiled. What does it say? Admiral Doe asked. It says, the ones who asked to be left alone now speak to the stars together. Gia felt tears in her eyes, but they were not sad tears. For the first time in years, she felt ready to return to the world, to people, to life. Outside the window, Earth glowed, blue and green. Home and beyond it, the stars waited, not just for humans now, but for humans and aura together. Two species who had learned the most important lesson. Sometimes the greatest strength is not in fighting, but in listening. As their ship headed back to Earth, Gia thought about the strange path that had brought her here. She had hidden away to avoid pain, but in her hiding place she had found the one thing humanity needed most, the ability to understand a voice from the stars. She had asked to be left alone. They hadn't listened, and now everyone could speak, even the stars.